the ability to know I'm here by grace. I survive by grace. I walk by grace. I talk by grace. Nothing and absolutely nothing is a qualifier but grace. Only what He wants to do. The idea that you don't qualify is your qualification. Now you are not hearing what I'm saying. I said the idea that you don't qualify is your qualification. If you think you are holy enough, you will not be chosen. I decree and declare by the authority of the Spirit. I don't care where you are coming from. I don't care what has happened in your past. I don't care what's happening right now. I don't even care what you're going to do tomorrow. But by the grace upon me now, by the power of the Holy Ghost, you are unctioned without the qualifications. God is a qualifier. Whilst there is a decorum in everything that we do, you need to wear clothes right. But I've seen prostitutes in suits. I've seen prostitutes with long skirts. And very good people with mini skirts. The position is here in the heart. I don't care how you kneel down and roll on the floor for Uebert Angel. He's just a person. Because you can kneel down while you are standing in your heart. I want you to see. This is grace. I said it is grace. Grace. Today is going to be different. I'll tell you some few things about my life. But then I'll make declarations for you to receive your mantle. If you're a man or a woman of God, your qualification is now. I don't care what you've done in your life. You will stand behind that pulpit and deliver a generation that is waiting for a generation to be delivered. Listen to me. I come all the way from Mashingo, where God comes from. But to think from that location, we can have the biggest stakeholder in the prophetic image. It doesn't happen unless there is grace. That nobody can really honestly, well-meaning Christian can really honestly speak of the prophetic without mentioning Uebert Angel. Yet if you look at where I'm coming from, there is no qualification there. Galilee of the nations. The land of Naphtali. Zebulun. The people that sat in darkness saw a great light, and Jesus preached. You see, there was not something that was coming. The land of Zebulun, the land of Naphtali, by the way of beyond Jordan. If you notice, he's telling you where he's coming from. And they said, can anything good come out of this? They located the location and said, this one cannot come out of this. 1977, before we got independence, in a place in Mashingo called Chifunde, my father was in education and my mother was in the medical field. Now, understand that for all this time she had had 7 children, 2 miscarriages, to the point where God had been speaking to her as she would be praying. Not a prophet, from the Dutch Reformed Church. And I understand that when we're talking about the Dutch Reformed Church, we're not talking about this spiritual. I'm not saying they are not spiritual. I'm talking about the way we would say spiritual things. The seeing of angels, the discerning of spirits, the speaking in tongues. The talk about hearing from God was not spoken in the branch that we were in. I don't know others. And after 2 miscarriages, she was told by the doctors, bring your husband And my father went and they sat with him and said, never have another child again. And of course, she was already pregnant. She was pregnant just a few months after that with my brother called Lee. You know Evangelist Lee. Evangelist Lee, they called him Lee because they said this is limit. In the sense that the doctor said, make this one your last. Because the womb cannot do it anymore. And they had to remove the ability to have children. So Wallace, one day she prayed, she said, God, I'm going to give you a summary so that we go to where you come in. Because the reality is, I'm not here to tell you where I come in. So today I'm just giving you some kind of understanding. And I want you, if you're a man of God, if you're a business person, listen. There are realms you can get into. I'm telling you this. And it doesn't need to be that you are an evangelist, an apostle, a big man of God, or general. No. You can actually enter where you are. The problem is condemnation is letting you out. Condemnation is getting you out of the gate. You're not thinking correctly. Just know the love of God will get you access. Oh yeah. I told you one day, I was in my house, and I'm still coming back to this story. You know why I keep going back to some statements? Because while we can be thousands, I can tell 1,000 still didn't get the idea that you don't need to do anything for God to do something for you. There are people who know grace, and then the people that will pray 10 hours to get what they need. Then there are people who never pray 10 hours. They can pray for 10 minutes and still obtain it. That's why many thieves are getting successful. And many Christians are still praying. Why? Because the Christian thinks if I pray, God will answer my prayer because of how long I prayed, because I'm very... The thief now is just grateful that God is blessing. Grace. They'll be crying grace. While you are trying to earn your stripes so that you can get the money. Big difference. Should I? Now let me come back to this issue. I'll come back to this. So she prayed and said, God, of all my children, if none of them is called as a prophet, give me one child as a miracle. Listen, with everything not medically possible for that to happen, I came out. Now watch this. And this is a woman 5 foot tall, Dutch Reformed Church, not Pentecostal, not some spiritual church somewhere. No, Dutch. That has to show you the love of God goes beyond your church name. At one time I praised the white garment church here, and people started thinking, oh, how can he praise the white garment churches? I knelt before a general of God who in his church they believe in many wives. People commented, he can't be a Christian. Why is he doing this? While you're sitting there, your father might not have been anyone. Your mother might not have been anyone. But I decree by the Spirit that there is going to be a shock factor. Where it will be so dangerous that in your whole family they'll be looking for you. I wish you could just get it. I said they will be looking for you. I just like it. One day you move around and you go like, I'm the result. I'm the result of the prayers of somebody. Hear me. Who am I? What did I do for my mother to receive an answer to prayer? There is nothing I did. I was not in existence. But it seems as if somebody knew my destiny before I got to my destiny. I'm a result of grace. All these prophecies you see, all the healings you see, are a result of grace. Take your seats. Take your seats. I told you, today will be the shortest service. Around 4 hours. Now, imagine a woman prays, God help me. Let me have a child. When it's impossible to have that. If she was not involved in the medical field, I would say because she was not intelligent enough to realize it. But before that, my life is akin to the Lord Jesus Christ's life in a certain way. Let me explain, so that it doesn't seem like I'm touting my own horn. In 1977, in July, in our rural area, there were so many soldiers who came because the Rhodesian army was fighting, of course, our men in the military, our army. And they came and killed so many people in that location. Why did they target that location? That location was the recruitment base for most people that were coming out of that area of Masvingo Zaka area going that direction, down to Chirezi. It was where young men were coming into the army through. They were joining the army from that region. So they became a target. And my father was one of the big names there. And his young brothers had already joined. So they decided, let's go and attack at the heart of the recruitment center. Are you still here? My message is simple. When I say the voice crying in the wilderness, don't think I'm coming here saying I'm John. Everyone here is a voice crying in the wilderness. Because we are here to prepare the way of the coming of the Lord. See, notice, it says, make the crooked way straight. That means even Jesus needed men to prepare his way. You are preparing the Lord's way. Even in your business, you are creating money with a mission so that they can be a EMA. See now. Have you ever wondered how men like Idahosa, Babylon, how did they come up? Idahosa, the family Muslim. And a man joined Christianity and realized that when the preacher was preaching, he said, Jesus healed the sick and raised a woman from the dead, this girl, and said, Talita Komai, stand up. He said, that's all. He was a Muslim, so he never thought about it. Christians, you know too much to doubt. He went on his bike, riding around town, asking, is there a funeral? How can somebody coming from a Muslim background be able to be blessed to have the boldness to go around? And they said, there is a woman here, a little girl has died. He said, yeah, give me that child. He prayed and nothing happened. He remembered what the scripture said, what the pastor said, that in Jesus made the mourners and those who cried to get out of the room. He said, all of you get out. Then he looked for the sequence and he said, Talita Komai. And the little girl rose. From there, He's touched. But you are coming from a Christian background, so you know too much to doubt. That's why the inception of this message, I try to tell you that grace is the only answer to what you're doing. Only grace. Can I talk to somebody? I said what? Only what? Only grace is the answer. Having the ability to know I'm here by grace. I survive by grace. I walk by grace. I talk by grace. Nothing and absolutely nothing is a qualifier but grace. Only what He wants to do. And then on the 4th of January of the following year, after they had killed people the previous year, my father was at his in-laws and my mother at the house. My sisters were also up there. And we had, those Dakotas. If you ever heard of them. They look like Apache helicopters with rows of seats. And not black soldiers from the Rhodesian army. No, Jews. Mercenaries were the ones that were hired by the government. And they landed behind the mountains of our homestead, which is just a few kilometers from the in-laws of my father, or rather grandfather. They arrived around 3 p.m. I'm talking about the same Jews that tried to kill Jesus Christ. It's amazing when you do like this. You can do your research and know what they did. They said they hired them for strategy, but that's not the case. It was for strategy, but most of them were mercenaries to keep us under bondage to the colonial rule. And when they got to that place, they started shooting people point blank. My relatives, by the way. We're talking about from around 3. At my grandfather's family, around 12 people died. And it's around 3. And my father ran from the house, and went into the just small bush that was there. He thought he would just pass through, and then he saw a well and he jumped into the well. From 3 to 7, he was in the well. With the soldiers killing people in the village, coming back to the same location. And he was still in the well. Coming out, breathing, going back in. No mention of what they were looking for. They were just killing people. And by the way, this is the 4th of January. And if you can calculate that time, you realize that 9 months will fall on the 4th of September. I was born on the 6th of September. Now hear this. That means if I was born full term, I was not there on the 4th of January. That means if my father had died on the 4th of January, you would not be in this room. And I say this in the presence of my relatives that are here, and they know what I'm saying. So watch this now. You get to a point where you realize, wait a minute. So this moment, this time right now, this man is saved because there is a generation to save. The idea then is, what did I do to get to this level? Nothing but to be available. So many times it's not your ability but your availability. If I ask right now, are you there for God? You, are you there right now? If God says, I want somebody to use, what will you say? Here I am, send him. The idea is you want a life that is peaceful. You cannot stomach being opposed every day, being fought every day. This job here has pressure. I can tell, when we come and the spotlight is on us, when we say, can I prophesy? They forget that at night, They forget there is somewhere where we are rolling on the floor for this same thing to happen during the day. You think we're just moving around, smiling, there is no place? No. No, that doesn't work that way.